This is attorney Matt Wallin, partner at Wallin and Klarich, criminal defense firm in Southern California. The video we're about to review is a sobriety checkpoint and ID checkpoint, which is actually located very close to our office. We'll go ahead and break down the questions that the driver has and the constitutionality of sobriety checkpoints and ID checkpoints. Enjoy.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Alrighty. We're doing a driver's license and sobriety checkpoint. Do you have your license?
You can see that this officer is trained in how to initially engage the drivers. These law enforcement manuals, be it CHP or other law enforcement manuals, they really are detailed in how they're supposed to approach drivers by greeting them very informally, conversational. How are you doing this evening? Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. Can I see your driver's license, your registration? They want to essentially mitigate people's concerns about these stops by being as polite and conversational as possible, and this officer has obviously taken the opportunity to do that.
Hey, did I get pulled over?
This is a checkpoint.
What right do you have to stop me? What's the probable cause?
This is a driver's license checkpoint.
Right, but what law do I have to stop here?
As a general rule, most people understand that absent an exception of some sort, a random vehicle stop does violate the Fourth Amendment. However, United States Supreme Court law and case law, both on the federal and state level, do approve the constitutionality of sobriety checkpoints under limited circumstances. A lot depends on the actual operation and improved manner of the checkpoint.
You have to show me your license.
Right, but was I pulled over?
No, it's a checkpoint. It's a checkpoint.
Right, but normally to show my ID I have to be pulled over for a reason, so what was the probable cause?
It's clear and unfortunate that this officer clearly does not know what the law is. The bottom line is he's probably taking directives from superiors, which may or may not speak to the constitutionality of the checkpoint. Case law from the U.S. Supreme Court speaks directly to the issue of whether or not sobriety checkpoints conform with constitutional guidelines. And there's about 8 factors that are at issue, and whether or not a checkpoint is going to be found to be constitutional will depend upon an analysis and the totality of the circumstances of each of those elements.
If you don't want to show me your license, I'm going to have you go over there and I'm going to check your license status.
For what reason?
This is a DUI checkpoint.
I realize that. Under what law?
This is a DUI checkpoint.
Under what law? What's the probable cause?
Here you can hear the driver asking whether or not the officer has probable cause. Actually, the officer does not need probable cause in this instance. Obviously, that's assuming that the checkpoint is lawful. The bottom line is DUI checkpoints are most successfully challenged in court by an experienced criminal defense attorney or DUI defense attorney who can challenge the constitutionality of the temporary detention. But the driver is mistaken in the sense that the officer does not, on the surface at this point, need probable cause to contact him.
I'm asking nicely for your license.
What's your name?
My name is Officer McMullen.
Do you have any ID on you?
Yes, I do.
Can I see it?
No, you can't.
So I can't verify that you're a police officer?
McMullen.
Can I see your ID though, to verify?
Why don't you come over here and we'll talk over this.
The issue that constantly comes up is a balancing of the government's interest in efficient law enforcement and safety versus the sacred Fourth Amendment rights of the individual and the right to privacy. The main concerns with some of these checkpoints is that many people feel that the government is chipping away at our most fundamental freedoms guaranteed by the federal Constitution. And the issue of the officer having to identify himself is another highly contested issue. In reality, the officer does not have to identify himself, at least in California. It's the driver who has the burden to identify themselves because courts have found that the officers have an outstanding need to ascertain the true identity of the driver and the owner of the vehicle, normally for purposes of writing a citation. So people run into problems when they try to engage an officer too aggressively and get into unnecessary banter.
I don't see the reason to. Did I do something wrong?
What's that?
Did I do something wrong?
No, this is a DUI checkpoint.
Right. Under
Driver's
what
license.
law do I have to show you my ID? What probable cause did you have to stop me right here?
So Matt, the officer tells him that, if he's not going to cooperate, they're going to pull him over to the side and they're going to prove whether or not he's legally driving. How exactly are they going to do that?
Well, in terms of the issue of the driver's license, we get a lot of clients who ask us about this. In California, at least, a driver who is stopped lawfully, and if we're assuming that this checkpoint is operated lawfully, you are required to show both driver's license and registration. If you fail to do so, or if you tell the officer that you don't possess either, the officer is actually permitted to conduct a warrantless search for these documents in your vehicle. Most people want to avoid that, so about the only thing I tell my clients to comply with is to produce proof of satisfactory license and registration.
How far can they take a warrantless search for a license? Are they allowed to start ripping your car apart to find it? Or what are the boundaries on a warrantless search? Because that sounds concerning.
That's a very interesting question, and actually case law speaks right to it. It used to be that only traditional repositories could be checked for registration, but recently, after a famous case, Arturo, the car can be searched anywhere where documents such as ID and registration could be found. There's case law where an officer conducted a warrantless search, searched all the way under the passenger side seat, found methamphetamine, and it was found that that evidence was lawfully seized. So the bottom line is they can search anywhere, any area in the vehicle where the documents could reasonably be expected to be found.
Wow.
It's a driver's license checkpoint. He stopped everyone.
Right, but what's the law? You don't know the law? My ID's right here, but
Okay.
I'm showing you out of distress
All right.
because you guys are swarming me right here.
Any alcohol?
None at all.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
As is evident from this video, those of you who have encountered law enforcement, intimidation and bullying is a very, very common tactic used by law enforcement. Again, they don't want to speak necessarily the semantics of constitutional, unconstitutional. What they want to do is oftentimes infringe on your freedom of movement so that you're forced or pressured into complying. And I believe this driver is just another example of that happening by the way that they have 5 or 6 officers surrounding them for really no reason at all. But again, it worked, and it works day in and day out, and that's part of the reason why I do what I do, and I practice on the defense side. This is attorney Matt Wallin, partner at Wallin and Klarich. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time and subscribe to our YouTube channel. In addition, if you're interested in a free legal protection plan, which provides 24/7 emergency legal assistance just in case you're arrested, in addition, 3 hours of free phone consultation per year, please visit our website at wklaw.com/LPP. Thank you.